Big best of 7 here. Sobek and Mihai. Winner here moves into the main event of Hidden Cup 5. And man, oh man, am I excited for this one. I love this map, and I love the civs we're seeing here. We've got the Persians, which have been picked a lot here, Dave. But then we've got the Huns from Mihai.
And I think the Huns really benefit his playstyle, right? Aggression. Just keep making units, keep using your great micro and great multitasking, and trying to apply that to Sobek, who's going to be feeling pressure himself. Mihai should be around the same expectation as Sobek. Like, I don't even know who the favorite is in this. It might be Mihai, it might be Sobek. I'm not sure, but whoever takes this first game is going to have a really big advantage, and that's not the start you want. He got 2 of the pigs, but still, that's not what you want there.
Yeah, not worth the pig heist there. I mean, I like what Mihai's done. I think that pushing deer on this map, which players do on a lot of other maps, is a little overrated, and scouting intel is important, but well, now he knows where the TC is. So maybe now that scout goes home to push deer.
Yeah. Copium. I do that all the time. I always know where my opponent's TC is. Trust me.
Oh, man. Well, Persians have that extra. They have the better start. They start with the extra food, and they start with the extra wood. Their docks are insanely tough to take down if they find your pond. So the number one strategy from the Persians is most likely to scout the pond early and try and get a dock up. Because you can go 1 dock against 2 and still win a pond with the Persians. It's incredibly strong. But
the thing about running into that TC for Mihai, Sobek can now just like comfortably go out as he signals the deer and says, sorry. He says, I'm pushing these now that you've run into my town center. If I was Mihai, I'd just be like, I know, bro. I know where they are. But Sobek can go up for the stock and not have to care.
True.
At which on cross, like that's an insane amount of stress levels early. Like, what if they send their scout right to where I'm docking? If I lose that Vil, I'm so far behind.
Yeah, I agree. Also, a common strategy for the Huns is to go scouts. Now your starting scout is weaker. So that will mean it's in some ways maybe less likely that we see certain builds. I mean, it really goes to say we're talking a lot about scout HP, and it really shows you just how high the level is here, that matters this much, right? The players will make the most of every little tiny engagement they can. Map-wise here, both golds and berries actually seem pretty identical in that they're on the back-ish of the map. I could see walls coming up potentially, but do you want to wall here if you're these players? On one hand, you might want to because it is the first game, but on the other hand, you got to be aggressive on cross.
I think, like, normally I say the problem with people playing Huns is they don't wall. Like, there's a syndrome with Huns where you just feel like you can never wall because your houses aren't up, and it just feels like too much of a task. I think the Huns would be much better if people did wall, and people who play with the Huns and wall do very, very well for themselves. But on a map like this, I'm going to go against that and say Huns need to play open. Huns need to be the aggressors and just keep spamming military units in the center area on the lands. And then the Persians need to wall and then maybe try and get a dock up. Like first, Sobek needs to identify exactly where Mihai is fishing and then try and get a dock over there if he can. That'd be really, really useful.
He is going to scout now, and he might encounter the pond. Now, usually you can use process of elimination. So even if you were to find this pond and not see the dock, it's very unlikely at this point that Mihai would ever be docked in the west. So they're going to know one way or another.
Oh, he's going to find it? He's going to find it right away.
And he might, I mean, if he's going to do this, Dave, he should be sending the villagers soon. So he might send a villager into the TC and right after Loom here, and send a villager towards that pond.
Send him.
I think Mihai, so Mihai saw the scout, and Mihai is scouting the shoreline, and he actually wants to wall that up. That's an interesting idea.
Ooh. That's actually really, really interesting because then the villager has to walk past his dock almost.
That's a lot of walling, though. Like, then you have to wall the other area.
He's doing it, and he's coming forward with another villager, and Sobek's got to be like, bro, is that your Vil going to the pond on the left?
Yeah, true.
Or what is he doing?
It is a builder. It doesn't necessarily tell you anything, right? You could have just built
if Sobek doesn't, like, come back here, he's going to assume that that villager is going to that pond on the left, probably. Unless he spots these walls, and then it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he still
Remember
doesn't
when I
see
said the Huns should play open here. Well, Mihai respectfully disagrees.
Yeah. Well, it is nice. At this point, Mihai's paying very close attention, I'm sure. He didn't see a Vil. And with these walls, he will know that his pawn in the south is safe. And he might go up to 6, 7, 8 fishing ships, which sometimes you're hesitant to do. Sobek has scouted the shoreline, thinking he could be docked. And he doesn't see any action there. He's actually going for a barrack. Same with Mihai. So they're both going to go for some type of like scout play, it feels like.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, that's a weak Vil on that tree, dude.
It is. But he's just chilling. He's just chilling. Don't bring those villagers too far away. You need at least 4 there. Like, he could run in to take all your pigs.
Sobek looking around now. Actually hasn't seen the gold. You need to look for that. If they're on gold, you're thinking they're going to go fire galleys or archers. Doesn't see gold. Will now go to the left side with a villager of his own to expand. And he's walling up as well. It definitely feels like... I mean, I know this map has a tendency to be aggressive, but I think these guys don't want to make any big mistakes, which you can sometimes do if you're too aggressive. And it's the first game in an important series. So very passive opening so far for both of them.
He spots the stable. So confirmation there, although he saw he wasn't on gold, and he sees all 3 golds. So
true.
Pretty easy to call that one out. These walls are massive. And now the next step for Sobek, I think with the scout, should be going over to the dock spot on the right, just to take a look.
Yep. And we'll see what he does on the left. He's actually making a fire galley. So I think he is thinking there's going to be a dock over there for Mihai, but Mihai has not done that. Sobek's scout sees the villager. We'll think about denying the dock, but the dock is up, and Mihai's protecting everything perfectly so far with the spearman.
Great scouting from Sobek, though.
Yeah.
Really, really lots of information, right? He knows about the walls. He knows about the double dock. He knows about the stable. There's really nothing more you could ask for. He's basically got an entire view onto what his enemy's game plan is. And he even knows the dock timing on the right. Like, he saw that dock going up.
That's a fair point.
So there's no fish over there.
Look at this strategy from Mihai. His teammate, Dark, did this in the early rounds. He's the only player I saw do this. He's building palisades in spaced out areas so docks can never be placed here.
I love that, dude. I used to do that on Houseboat whenever I would play somebody.
It's super
and I
smart.
thought they would forward dock me. I would just put palisades down, yeah.
Yeah, I think like 2 more palisades, and then there's no way for Sobek to be able to fit a dock there. New meta here from Mihai. Again, I've only seen this one other time the entire qualifier, and it was from Dark, who's also on Team Fox.
The problem with this is that you're busy with other things, right? So you like miss shift Q something, or you're missing one little tile.
Yeah.
And suddenly they can put a dock down. Like, he can put a dock down there if he wants to come over.
Yeah, that one tile there is still missing. We'll see if Mihai notices it. Mihai has been happy to just chill and make sure he's not broken here. He's got 2 pawns. Sobek has 2 pawns, but the fishing count for Mihai is higher. He's got 11 with 2 more on the way, not to mention the scouts. And I think for the Huns, you always want cav archers in this matchup, and very frequently on cross. But in order to get there, you need to stay alive. And that it can be such a big deal, such a difficult thing, because they don't wall, and they don't have houses. But Mihai has walled up.
Nice.
Dang. I really like how Mihai's played this so far.
A lot of people don't wall with the Huns. They feel like it's not too easy. Mihai disagrees, and now he's going to have a fully walled base, 2 fully walled pawns, and he can fish boom, and he doesn't have to make houses. So all of his fishing production, TC production, as long as he has the resources, will never be stalled out.
Is there a hole there?
That's an insane advantage.
Oh, yeah. God, there's a hole! No, Sobek!
Bro. Oh. What on earth is that? That's just a pathway. That's a highway.
I mean, if you just glance at it when you're busy, you might think that that's walled. I'm not even sure how that happens. Like, maybe there was a tree there or something. But he does lose a villager, and with his opponent already being fully walled, this is not going to feel great. But I think he will be able to damage control from this. He's got the archers there. He's got some scouts. Mihai's got some weak units here. I think in the end, Mihai won't do much more.
So if the Hunts play into cav archers, and I know that one guy is going to love this, is there a world where the Persians play into cav archers also, or are you just playing knights?
I I mean, the food eco is going to be so good with all these fish.
Yeah,
I
it's probably
think
knights and camels.
Knights and camels with scorpions is probably the better play. Yeah. Interesting engagement here for Mihai. He takes the fight. Did have bloodlines in, which is probably why he did it, but he will lose everything here. So that was a little.
Yeah, that was a great clear up there from Sobek. Really, really solid. He has one scout still left over, which is huge. Can use that to spot any forwards or anything like that. He gets the wall up, and now those walls are placed properly this time. And well, he's not too far behind to the castle age, just 40 seconds.
Look at the food income for both players
insane.
right now. Like,
this
is actually an argument. So what I like about the Cav Archers is that you can go immediate 3 TC boom and have the food to make vills forever because you're not spending any food on your army.
I think you have to go hybrid, dude. I think you have to go Cav Archers with a few knights in front. You already have bloodlines. Maybe get the armor. You're going to float so much food. Even if you have 3 TCs, you're already almost up at 1,000 food.
Yeah. Crazy food eco. Now, eventually, players will have to fish trap if they want these fishing ships to still work. But it is 2 pawns for both, and we do have the TC here for Mihai. And this scout from Sobek's like, what are you doing in there, bro? What are you doing?
What's going on?
Ooh, Sobek is reading this. Sobek's going to start making skirms at home. He's waiting for Cav Archers. Yeah, he definitely knows. That gate tells you that it's not going to be knights. Cav Archers are definitely going to come from that gate at some point.
The problem with skirms here, though, is if Mihai goes for that hybrid approach, like camels would have been a better approach for Sobek, right? But I guess he is fully walled, so he's just worried about range units breaking through. He's going to go 3 TC, and Persian TCs are insane.
Yeah, I think another thing that I've noticed is, and the Persians' low win rate has made me think about this more and more, is it's really hard to boom on 3Ts effectively, or like perfectly with Persians, and also make knights and camels, because you need so much food. Whereas like just some skirms sitting behind the wall, that can hold for now, and give you time to add plenty of farms, where later on in the game, maybe you can add the knights and the camels.
Wait, it's double layer palisade walling everything, which is nice. It's great.
Yep. A really nice play. Res collected is higher for Sobek. But you know, right now, just a 3 TC boom game. So now we have to ask, which civ is better in late game here? Huns or Persians? Is there one that's better?
I think I like the Cav Archer mass from Huns.
Yeah.
I mean, Savar is great. Don't get me wrong. If you have the resources. But I think the Cav Archers are going to control this middle area. And look at where a lot of those golds are from Sobek.
Yeah.
And the relics as well. Like, it's going to be tough to get the amount of gold that you need to spam out the Savar.
True. With these walls, there is that extra gold spot, which Mihai's going to TC. He has protected a neutral gold, too. Like, he's walled pretty much to the edge of the map at various points, and Sobek just walled to his pond. And first villager down, or sorry, I guess second villager down for Sobek on the wood line. But again, he does have the skirms. I actually think he's got to be careful moving out too far with skirms. I think for now, he could, in theory, just sit in his walls and use the skirms to defend all the same from these Cav Archers.
I don't know why Mihai just didn't even make one knight.
Yeah, true. Well, he's going to go for siege, which I also like. But one knight here would do so much more damage.
It stops the skirms coming across. It stops any scorpions or anything if they're getting out of position, right?
Yeah.
It can stop a villager coming forward for a siege workshop if he wants to go for that approach for some reason. Like, one knight gives him so much value.
Look at this farming eco right now for Sobek. He's really used this time to transition into those farms. He's got 30 on food. The skirms have to be careful here. There is a mangonel coming forward, and Sobek was looking to see what was happening there for Mihai, and he lost the scouts before he saw the siege. So I don't think he knows there's a mangonel coming, and Mihai's trying to keep him here right now with some beautiful micro.
He hasn't even taken a single hit on the Cav Archers. Wow. Really, really solid stuff here for Mihai. And maybe he's like, I don't need a knight. Micro's back on the menu. I can just dodge every shot now. No regrouping.
Oh, man. Attack round hits.
Ooh, big shot.
And he's going to get another one, and the Cav Archers can clean up the rest. So Mihai's composition here. Mangonel Cav Archer working out, and now we see Siege Workshop and a stable from Sobek. So yeah, now Sobek's like, okay, we need more. Because losing those skirms was not so good for him. He drops a university, maybe thinking about ballistics. So he's going to try and do like everything, basically. But you only have so many resources to work with right now.
Well, I mean, the farm eco is going to be so huge here. And I noticed that when I was watching Sobek before, he's usually really, really quick to like 30, 40 farms, regardless of what map or Civ matchup he's playing up against. And Mihai, well, he is just adding the farms now, and he's going to need to add a lot of fish traps too. So that's a lot of wood expense for him.
He seems happy enough to take some of these fights with the CA against the skirms, thinking he has the numbers, but skirmishers are just wood and food. And this is something that Sobek's going to have a lot of. I think if a knight actually would be created now by Sobek, he could maybe take the siege, but who needs that when he just takes out the siege with his own siege? And last couple minutes, we've seen a couple cav archers go down. Ballistics is now in for Sobek. It's not for Mihai, and Mihai might be trapped here almost.
Yeah, he's going to have to run over to the left side there. Monk also bringing in a relic here for Sobek. So while he has an opportunity, he's going to take advantage of it. And it's just a very slow, deliberate play for Sobek. And now Mihai against ballistic skirmishers with that +2 armor is going to lose some numbers, I think.
Yep, he will. Now he's gonna take the fight because it's low numbers, but still the cav archers have to back away. And if you don't know a lot about Sobek and Mihai, really, I think the core difference that I would have said between these two is Mihai has the potential for aggression. And here in this game, he has really shown, he's maybe learning, because I don't think they played each other that frequently, that Sobek loves a boomy game. He loves a macro game. But what he's not a fan of is those crazy messy games where the map's completely open. So with this time, man, his eco is flying behind this. And now he's going to try a mix of camels and skirmishers like we thought he might do.
Cav Archer mass is still at 21. And the Civ matchup, when you look at it late, you never answered that. Which Civ do you like better? Do you like the Cav Archers from the Huns, or do you like the full spread from the Persians?
I think if it's an even game, I have to go Persians because of the Savar.
Yeah.
But I actually think Huns, like early imp, Persians, the later it goes, Huns, because I think that they can keep that Cav Archer mass. Having Bracer and everything could be really strong. But I don't actually think there's that big of a difference. I really think that it's quite close, and we're already seeing that here. I mean, this has been the dream start to this series. Winner moves into Hidden Cup 5 main event. Loser is out. So this will be a painful loss for whoever loses this series.
Mihai has still not made a single night.
Yeah, true.
Kind of crazy. And I think there might be a hole somewhere. Why was that guy mining stone on the opposite side?
He might have walked around at one
Maybe.
point, and we missed that. Man, one relic for both players. Skirms here in position, getting another kill. They need to back away. If this was the old patch, we'd be a lot more nervous for Sobek because the units
the
would
Skirms
regroup.
wouldn't be there anymore. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. None of these units would be here anymore.
Yeah. I like even the healing here from Sobek. I like how he's sitting on the hill. He seems very scared to move against that hill from Mihai.
Oh,
This is like
great job from Mihai to stonewall this, because the Knights are coming.
Yeah,
and if
true.
the Knights make it in, you could have so many problems. Your Cav Archer mass needs to go back, right? That's a giant headache. Let's see if Sobek gets the mangonel shots here. He's going to try for one. He gets one, but 1 for 1.
Yeah, monks might get conversions. Man, this feels like two like fighters with crazy careers just like squaring off in the first round, right? Like they don't want to take any risks. They don't want to waste too much energy, but it's building up towards a big conclusion possibly. I love the army count for Sobek. It's insanely high. The upgrades are great as well. He needs to force a fight here as Mihai is on the way to Imp, and I do not see how Mihai can win this fight. Sobek's got so much army here.
No, Mihai needs to play defensively, and he needed that shot on the skirms too. He's backing up with the Cav Archers to the town center. So the Knights and the Camels can't really go deeper than that. But he's going to be inside of his base when he reaches Imperial Age.
Yeah.
Sobek has done a great job just ramping up production. It was so little, right? He's getting his eco set up, and then suddenly he just flipped the switch, and he was up at 40 military there for that engagement. So really good job from him.
Yeah, I like it. He didn't find that much reward for the aggression, I will say. Like, he killed some CA, but he hasn't killed many Vils. He hasn't taken much of the map away from Mihai. So that is something that Sobek might want more of, is a little bit more map control, and that's what that castle's going to do for him. Actually seems like he might be... No, he does click up to Imp behind this. But good call out earlier. The stone wall from Mihai next to the barracks is really important. Otherwise, army would have been right through.
If even like 4 Knights got in during the middle of that fight, it would have been brutal, right?
Yep.
There's no pikemen or monks or anything to defend here from Mihai. It's just cav archers. And if you have any raiding army in the back, all of your main army needs to come back to deal with that, which you just can't afford at the moment.
You know what's great for range units and not for melee units? Choke points, walls, right? How Mihai has set up his base here is so good for the cav archer play. And Persians lacking fully upgraded skirms, that can be problematic here if heavy cav archer upgrade comes in. And Mihai has basically said, screw any units out of my stables this game. Just forget about it. Like, beyond the scouts, we haven't seen a single knight, to my knowledge. And he's just going for all the cav archer upgrades.
Mihai needs to check this wall on the left. Because when those knights get in, it's going to be a disaster. And I don't even mind Sobek not repairing this castle at all. He might choose to do that.
Yeah.
But the knights are in. That castle is buying himself time to get to Imperial Age. And I really like Sobek's position here.
I do too.
I really, really like it because Mihai is all alone with that army. He doesn't have anything to support it until that castle goes down. And now suddenly there's a hole on the other side of his base. He has to worry about that.
Mihai went forward, though. Mihai went forward. And look at the reward for this. He's going to kill villagers everywhere.
Oh my
the
God.
stone and gold, all
God.
exposed for Sobek. Beautiful find here for Mihai.
Really, really solid job. I think unexpected, too. Sobek he thought he would just defend near the Trebs, right? Or maybe deal with the other knights. Another knight army looking to come through on the right side, too, into Mihai's base.
I love what Sobek has tried to do here. Because he knows the cav archers have to be all in one spot. And if they're all in one spot, they're tough to kill. So he's trying to find different areas for damage. But honestly, man, like, look at the army count. Sobek has lost most of his skirms, most of his knights, most of his camels. There's 40 Hun cav archers here for Mihai, and they're just killing everything.
But, there are some cav archers in defense. Okay, I thought he didn't have any. He does have some to deal with those knights. They killed a bunch of villagers. And Sobek still has the villager lead here, as Mihai will just kind of hang out near that gold. But that's a really, really brutal position for the gold and the stones to be for Sobek, with the cav archers just kind of roaming around.
It's crazy. Hun cav archers are so cheap. You save so many resources on them. And this is up against the Civ that does not have the full upgrades on the skirms. Mihai dropped the stone gates next to his monastery here. Just in case Cav would dive for the Trebs. He's likely to take this castle out now. And now, once you're maxed out on CA, Dave, and you know your opponent might go skirms, now is when you think about, like, Halp or Hussa or something in combination.
Sobek's food eco is kind of unreal. He was up at 60 on food at one point.
Yeah.
Before the garrisons came in. He's got the camels now. He's got the full armor. But doesn't really have any units to raid anymore. And suddenly, Mihai... 5 Trebs. That cav archer raid just opened up so many possibilities for him. That was a great job to come forward with that.
Yep, now that Treb from Sobek. Like, Sobek clearly wanted to hold this hill. He had stone before. He never dropped another castle because he felt like if he lost this position, he could lose the game, and he's going to lose his Treb. He does take a really nice fight against the CA, but the problem for camels would be there's not enough of them. There's just simply not enough. There's just cav archers everywhere.
I think the best thing Mihai has done this game is double walling, making sure there's no gaps. Even when there is a hole or a hole is made by Sobek, replacing it with stone walls.
Yep.
Like, he doesn't want to be distracted. He just wants to focus everything into these cav archers. Like you said, you're playing archers, you want choke points. That's exactly what he's given himself because Sobek can't find a way to distract him.
He also had a lot of patience in Castle Age. It looked so good for Sobek. He just fell back. He timed his defensive castle nicely. Mihai has made every move look so calculated this game.
Trebs.
Uh-oh. No, don't lose the Trebs here, Mihai. He's microing the cav archers.
Trebs, dude. It's only camels, but still. Trebs.
I think it's still kind of worth it. He hasn't lost any cav archers. His castle will go up. The TC went down. The camels can't even take all the Trebs. Sobek's pop is insane, but it's mostly eco. He's got 154 eco. You just can't compete with this many CA right now.
Yeah, he didn't even get the last one. His entire camel army is gone in exchange for 3 Trebs, and that's a GG. Well played from Mihai there. I really thought Sobek's eco was going to snowball, and the raids would get in. And they only got in a little bit on the sides because Mihai did such a great job walling. Also, that run forward to the gold and the stone from Sobek, like Sobek had nothing there to defend that. Even a town center there would have been huge. but he had nothing.
So a lot of people are saying another loss for Persians. Persians have been picked a lot, played a lot. I think they're a good civ. But another win for Huns on Cross. I'll have people tell me, but I believe Huns are 4-0 now on Cross, undefeated. Have not lost a game yet, and it's always CA. Just big, massive cav archers. It feels like the problem for Sobek, he had the food eco, but everything he was making cost food. The skirms cost food, and then you need the upgrades, which is tons of food. The camels cost food. That's also lots of food into the upgrades too. So, I mean, if you could just make one unit, it simplifies your game. It makes it easier to control them. You don't have to focus on other things, and that's precisely what Mihai was able to get away with here. He made it look really easy.
I think Sobek should have just gone knights or camels opening right away instead of the skirms.
He definitely couldn't decide. Yeah, he definitely couldn't decide. I think the map control that he gained himself in late Castle Age, if he had that in early Castle Age, that could have changed things too.
Suddenly he's pressuring all of it. Like there's 50 tiles of palisade wall over on the left.
Yep.
I don't care if it's double palisade walled. Like if you have +2 knights working away on all of that, you're going to get in. And then the cav archers can't do anything to your home base because they're going to be busy putting out fires at home themselves. So I think that mobility really needs to be used, the pressure from Sobek. But I mean, not taking away from Mihai. He played amazing. And like I said, the most impressive thing was just plugging all the gaps, making sure that he had full focus in the middle and there was no distractions.
And even just like the little palisade thing was so cool.
Yeah.
Like how many times do we see villagers exposed and get picked off by scouts? He defended from the scouts. It was a very clean game for Mihai. And again, Mihai's 20 years old. He is committed a lot to the game over the last couple years. Game 2. And we have the Georgians for Mihai. Mihai won the first game, playing very defensive. Now it's time for him to show us he can play a little bit more aggressive. I know both these players have it in them, and I expect it. But yeah, the mule cart is the main thing here. Because the wood is so awkward to take, and because the middle is so vulnerable with the water land terrain, mule carting might be the way to go to have safe wood here, Dave. So I like the Georgians pick.
Does he know that you can explore with that? Okay, good. It's kind of been sitting there for a while, you know, and especially on a map like this where people come forward early and take your water buffalo, it might be worth to explore with that. And it looks like one water buffalo is already gonna be leaving.
Yeah. I thought we would see a lot of this, so week 2 of the quali, we instantly decided to move the elephants to the back because there's no deer, so players are not going to push deer, and the water buffaloes you find right away. There's only 4 of them. So a good decision, I think, to go forward if you're any player, just to see if you can find anything. Also, just knowing where your opponent is, because sometimes it is a little bit more awkward, and Sobek can already tell, based on the gold and based on the hill there, that the enemy TC must be there.
Man, losing that 150 food is so brutal. It really is, especially with Georgians, where you're already minus food because of the mule cart at the beginning, right?
Yeah, I agree.
It's really, really tough. And the transition onto other food sources is going to be tough too. You can't collect berries to the mule cart, if anyone's wondering. So just sending it out to the berries won't work. You're going to need to make a mill for that, which means more investment. And yeah, it's tough.
Also, and I'm sure these players are more used to it than I am, but even though the mule cart has the potential to move around and add to efficiency, you have to be involved in that whole process as a player. And I think you're still going to end up seeing situations where you're chopping through the wood rather quickly and things get inefficient because Mihai might be distracted. So I can understand why you pick the Georgians here to maybe use the outer wood and not take as many risks, but it does make you work a bit harder as a player in some ways.
Yeah, we need like a comprehensive video on how to effectively manage the mule cart, because I know you can like select it and left click a tree or whatever, but can you like shift left click trees or right click trees? I don't know. I haven't taken the time. I just still have muscle memory from lumber camps, which means I add mule carts right in front of another mule cart.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that's the biggest thing is rewiring your brain because we are used to just building a new one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like some players, it's really funny. We might actually see it in the next series.
Oh, like Hart?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Mule carts? Yeah.
Dude, Hart will have 100 mule carts at the end of the game with Georgians or Armenians because he's just building new ones. But other players are actually moving them around. So it is kind of funny to see that because it's so fresh.
All right, feudal age on the way. 17 population for Mihai with no loom.
That is really fast. Yeah, no loom is also interesting, but I guess at this point you're always expecting it to be a scout rush, and you're not expecting there to be men-at-arms. Still could lead to a villager getting picked off if there's one on its own, but he hasn't done that yet. And Sobek, on the other side, we haven't talked about the Japanese. Cheap lumber camps, cheap mills. Huge for this map, and also very frequently you're going to want spearmen out because there will be scouts. And Japanese infantry attack faster. So I think Japanese are a great civilization here.
Also, late game. They have potential, right? Like towers. I've seen a lot of towers on late game on this map.
True.
To lock down different parts of the map. And I've seen Yasuma, I think, a couple times already throughout this qualifier. So it does have potential as Mihai now adds the barracks. He's probably going to go into scouts and will have loom queued up immediately after feudal. So I think before Sobek gets that feudal age scout, Mihai's villagers are going to be protected.
Sobek is thinking that he's fast here at 19 pop.
No, you slow, son. You're like 26. He's old.
I'm not sure if he's going to like that notification there on screen. 7:36 feudal age time here. But we'll see if any corners were cut. We'll see if the eco upgrades can still come in here for Mihai. This does mean your eco is a little bit more fragile. So far, it looks pretty smooth. He builds the stable as we all expected. And the question that everyone wants to know, or what everyone has to ask on Mudflow, is when do you make the dock?
Yeah. And I want to see someone. I mentioned it the other day as, Mihai actually finds a really annoying potential villager pick on the barracks. Not going to be able to get it. Great job from Sobek. Like I said, I want to see the side dock from somebody.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the front dock. I want to see like the dock way out into the middle of nowhere that no one's going to spot and they're not ready for the demo to show up.
Yeah, I would like that too. Obviously, in this case, the Georgians may never go to the middle because of the mule cart. I'm still going to keep a very close eye on that and see if he's clicking them around. But yeah, I'm with you.
That is something you could do with Georgians, like wall up, like Mihai's doing, and then a dock way over on the right side.
Oh, true. Make them think that you're just stuck inside your walls.
Exactly. And you don't have, usually you're using the dock to protect your wood choppers. You don't have anything to protect there. It's purely offensive. Or you could mass up galleys too in a sneaky dock. Even just 3 galleys controls this middle area so well. It's insane.
I mean, the unit that everyone wants to talk about when it comes to unique units right now is the Manaspa. Is Manaspa broken? Are the Georgians OP? It feels like the Manaspa is probably broken, but the Georgians are underpowered in other ways, right? It's weird. And if you wall up, you can take this stone. And you can actually use the mule cart for that while you're taking wood as well. So full wall is very rare on this map. And with full walls down, Mihai would be feeling very comfortable.
We're going to have to start counting trees, though, if he's just sitting back here in a corner. There's not that many. There's enough for the early game, but I'm only spotting like maybe 6K wood back there.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Stark do it. He would just build TCs on the wood and the gold on the outside and never take the middle. I think that was a big part of what happened in his game against Dogao that I know you covered, where Dogao was like, I have 2 castles in the middle. How can he win? And Stark still found enough resources on the outside. And the outside ended up winning him the game. But here comes a counterattack from Sobek. Sobek has probably played a dozen or so Mudflow games, maybe more, in all his trainings and whatnot. And I would be very surprised if he ever faced a full wall in any of those games.
Maybe. I don't know who his training partner was.
Yeah.
Or partners.
Yeah, maybe was training with Stark, actually. So maybe Stark could have gone full wall. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him specifically about who he trained with or anything, but that is a full freaking wall here from Mihai. That is a theme so far from him, isn't it?
It is, and maybe that's something he's identified he needs to do against Sobek, or maybe this is just like comfortable gameplay for him, right? Once you're fully walled, then you can fully focus on the aggression.
Yep.
Don't have to worry about yourself, which is excellent. And he's found himself potentially a villager pick. Spearman all over the place, though. Great defense from Sobek.
So we see a fire galley right now for Sobek. and there's no benefit. I mean, I don't hate it. It could still protect your resources, and eventually the middle will become important. But Sobek just realized now his opponent is fully walled, and it's not a good feeling.
I want to see this
defense.
strat, the Mihai strat from Armenians, and then someone makes galleys off to the side.
Ooh, true.
I feel like you can still use the mule cart stuff, right, to take your wood behind. You can go for the full walls. You could even open scouts as well with them, even though they're not as good. And then you have the water pressure. Could be huge.
Mihai's being so patient, which must be so annoying for Sobek. He's just, give me some hits here. And you have to be careful, because if your spears chase for too long, they'll move out of position, and it gives potential for the scouts to kill a villager here.
And these scouts are healing over time, too.
Yeah. It's slow and
very slowly,
but it is something.
It adds up.
Dave, I think we're going to see... I don't think we're going to see Manaspa. I think Manaspa, it would be a smart play. I think the big brain play here is actually Cav Archers for Mihai. He won in game number 1 with Cav Archers. Georgian Cav Archers have great upgrades. They do heal up over time as well, because it's Cav. We have a demo, Dave! We have a demo! No way! Sobek lands the demo, and Mihai can't help but laugh at it.
An 11. Dude, I was busy watching Sobek scout die to a spearman, and then the demo comes out of nowhere. I've disappointed everybody. I caught the tail end of that when they all died.
It's okay.
Damn.
You were the one who believed in the demo before the players did, right? You made that happen.
Yep.
Wow. Well, okay, scouts aren't annoying anymore, but seriously, you've got walls. Your opponent has defensive spears. I would love to see archer ranges from Mihai as he heads towards Castle Age.
Castle Age, not too far away for Sobek either, but very open. Like, actually amazing that Sobek hasn't taken this opportunity now after killing those scouts to wall. You should wall here. And that's exactly what he's doing on the left side. You can wall to the wood line, wall to your dock there, and like the options for Mihai are going to be very limited, right? He's either going into Manaspa, he's going Cav Archers, or he's going like Knights or Light Cav. It's all going to focus around that mobility. If you can limit that mobility, you're going to be in a way better position.
Yep. Market, it's not a bad sign. Sometimes it is when players are using the market to get up, but this still is a good economy here for Sobek. He just needs a little bit of help, and I think when the games gets messy, you're going to want that market anyways. But still, big question marks on what the plan is here for Mihai. Is he going to 3TC boom back here? Just behind these walls where there's so little wood?
He's chilling, man.
Yeah, seriously. I feel like 2 ranged Cav Archers could harass the wood line on the water. It could get in, kill the spearman on the other base. I guess he doesn't have vision on the fact it's not walled yet, but very passive play from Mihai, who clearly feels like if this goes late game against this player, that he is in the better position.
Archer range here for Sobek. Might be Cav Archers for him. Who knows?
Yeah, feels like a good timing for Cav Archers. Castle Age comes in, and the 4 daring villagers that left the safety of home are going to build a TC, and then in the south we have another TC. Wow, dude, we have not seen games like this. Full walls, big 3 TC boom here from Mihai on a map that normally has like 20 or 30 units killed before players reach Castle Age.
The problem with having your eco spread out like this, you're going to have to make a lot of fortified churches if you're Mihai.
Oh, true.
You need one over on the right. You need one in the south. You need one over on the left. You need another one up near that TC. That's a big investment, man.
There's still going to be demos on the water. A knight does not get one-shotted by a demo, though. So we won't have the highlight unless there's 2 demos, and that might not be worth it. You have to be careful here if you're Sobek, and he is paying attention. He's actually re-walling that wood line.
Oh, he's been re-walling the entire time. There's another hole near the other side, though. Sobek, you just walked right through it. I know you over-chopped the other one, but...
Well, it's not the end of the world. It could have lost all of these if he didn't know about it, and now the demo goes in and weakens the 2 knights.
Full walls here. Perfect timing. Nice job.
Yeah, full walls are down. Spearmen are around. Spearmen may actually leave the walls here to poke down those knights because they won't be low HP for very long with the Georgians. It will slowly heal up, but clearly Mihai is focused on the boom here. Like, there's been a couple instances where he's run into demos. I think that's just because he's adding farms at home right now.
So 2 games like this. Dude.
Yeah.
Can I get another coffee?
Yeah, go for it if you want to. Yeah, I could save my questions, but...
All right. Listen, you need to cook up a strategy for both of these guys that I would love. And when I get back, I want to hear it, okay?
Okay. Oh, man. That's a lot of pressure. See, the thing is, if it's too normal, Dave doesn't like it. Like a brilliant strategy that's happened more than 5 times before, he's not a fan. It has to be unique. What about Galleon play in the Imperial Age? What do you think about that, chat? Is that good? Is that unique enough? I think it actually could be good, as we continue to think that the wood in the middle is going to be needed. Yeah, it has to involve demos, yes. I do not know.
All right, what do you got?
Galleons. That's all I've got.
Galleon! I like it.
Okay, thank God.
What about... Okay, Cav Archer's coming in. Nice. Finally, we got some action. Sobek might be able to find this monk. I don't think so. The knights are being used to block it. Maybe he can hop in the TC jump.
Yeah, nice job there from Mihai.
Don't head back out.
Dude, he's just teasing them. Res collected is higher for Mihai. I was going to ask you, now that you're re-energized, I'm especially interested. What do you think about the fortified churches here? Because it's still so new. I haven't really seen people build the fortified churches in their eco all the time. They normally opt for just standard eco, but...
I mean, Doubt thinks they're great.
Okay.
If you watch Doubt play with Georgians, he has a fortified church precisely every 10 tiles.
Yeah.
I think they're... Like, if you can afford it, if you're floating that res, sure. Does it make a huge difference at the end of the day? I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's a little overrated. But it does provide some protection, right? So if these Cav Archers ever get in, you have places for the villagers to hide, which isn't the worst contingency plan.
We are continuing to have a wood problem on Mihai's side here. Like, he is moving mule carts around. Give him credit. He's using his micro. Like, I would have villagers walking to trees and the mule cart left behind. But he is really running out of wood. So he's going to need middle control. And if he goes for middle control, there could be Cav Archers. There could be demos. Like, what's he going to do here? I guess he's just going to go knights, but I still don't really know what his plan is.
I mean, Tristan, look at the eco upgrades. Look at the fortified churches. Look at all of that. His economy is going to be insane.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he's insisting on taking that wood at the front when there's other wood options behind here. But when he gets that eco rolling, all it takes is like one castle position in the middle. And suddenly he's got access to all of that. And he's got an insane economy.
Yeah, that's true.
Too. And Sobek hasn't been able to disrupt this at all. It must actually be really frustrating for Sobek, right? You went up fast into scouts. You were on the back foot the entire time because he went up faster. And now you've gone Cav Archers, a raiding unit, and you haven't been able to do anything.
Yeah, it's true.
Nothing.
It's true. But I will say, Sobek's done a fantastic job tracking these 2 knights. Look at that. In the north, knows about them. Found them. He's also 3 TCs. Could be 4 for him. And Japanese Cav Archers are very strong. And Mihai continues with the greed here. And that town center, dude. That town center might be denied if Mihai isn't careful.
No, he's got monks. Sobek's got those monks living in his head rent-free.
This greed from Mihai feels like a top 5 player greed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, just like a Hera level, a Hera Viper level greed of like, I'm favored here. Yeah, you can't break this. Go ahead and try. Crazy.
Are these the same 2 knights that have been on the field the entire time?
I think so.
And they just keep healing up over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think so.
Those are the knights that tanked the demo. They blocked the Cav Archer army. They ran into another Cav Archer army.
More knights +2
armor
out.
is in now, by the way. So Sobek can't stand and fight this. He's going to lose this. He needs to run.
Yeah, he needs to run. And he's probably been thinking he needs to punish. So he's trying to, but for the first time in a long time, he sees more than 2 knights. And these CA need to get out of here. And he should be able to get away. He does have husbandry. He's a bit faster here. But I think you just have to accept, if you're Sobek right now, that Mihai is going to take some map control. You're not going to kill this main eco anymore.
Yep.
And it has to go late, which, again, Makes me think, you already have Cav Archer upgrades. Does it make sense? Add a couple extra docks. Add some war galleys, maybe. Maybe even just more demos around is more cost-effective and has more bang for your buck. But
I think it's a really tough spot for Sobek because he saw those knights. He has to add more Cav Archers now.
Yeah.
Pikemen is more of a later transition. You don't have the mobility to catch up to those. And you got to invest into Thumbring and Ballistics. But here comes Mihai. Finally, we're 30 minutes in. It was precisely at the 30-minute mark, Tristan, that he decided to come out. He's going to make that castle, and he's going to have plenty of wood.
I can't wait till there's like 8 mule carts next to the wood now because he wants to abandon his base. I mean, again, we haven't really seen someone try this before to play this passive. He's done it solely because of the mule carts, and we are not seeing him play around the Manaspa and only the Manaspa. He might make them now, but the patience from Mihai has been extraordinary here.
And Mihai is going to take some losses before Ballistics comes in, but it's only one knight, so the other ones will heal up, and that's just buying him time to place that castle down. So he's perfectly fine with that engagement over there. He knows where the Cav Archers are, right? On the left side, he's also got knights over here, healing up a lot of that HP, and suddenly wood access, and he almost has enough stone for another castle, too.
Wow.
Also going for stone walls on the right. Mihai has impressed me so much over these first 2 games as he clicks up to Imp, far in front of Sobek. Just the focus on the walls. Like, you see a lot of people wall, but re-walling is a huge issue. And anyone who's played the game knows that. Like, you feel like you're safe, but you're actually not.
And even just
there's
like
always a hole.
Even just the timing here, like the amount of knights he made, it seems perfect. We've seen players make too many knights, delay their Imperial Age for too long. But no, he's going to get home with some of them, maybe. Cav Archers from Sobek have something to say about this on the right. So we jinxed him. Oh, God. Now the TC's been found. We jinxed him. Mihai's greed is actually not working, but he is on the way to him. Mihai, you gotta keep these villagers here. You got to get that gold here, man.
He's got knights coming in. Should be able to get that town center up on the left.
Yeah,
there's one knight targeted for a conversion, too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he'll convert the knight. The knight will come back to his team. But nice job from Sobek over the last couple minutes to defend from these attacks. Look at him get conversions again and drop a castle on the left side.
Was that 3 conversions there? Oh, jeez. Really, really brutal. TC's at 70%.
Dave, he's got 3 knights right now. He's got 3 knights. He's making a tower.
Well, he's teching into armor. Bodkin ballistics, like, is he thinking skirm Manaspa, I guess?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The skirm numbers aren't there. I mean, there's none of them. He doesn't even have the archer ranges up yet.
This is what...
And the Cav Archers are going to get in.
This is what Sobek has been waiting for. He's like, finally, my army pays off, and your greed is getting punished. Sobek...
And there's no church over here.
Oh, man, and Mihai's clearly distracted. There's just too many things happening right here. This is brutal. Ballistics is in. All these villagers are going to die. That tower's not enough. 20 villagers have gone down for Mihai over the last few minutes. And Sobek is on the way to the Imperial Age himself.
Really great job here from Sobek. You apply enough pressure, eventually you're going to crack your opponent, right?
Yep.
Skirmisher transition was attempted by Mihai, but Sobek caught him before he even had any skirms on the field.
Really
so
nice
perfect timing there. Still a lot of villagers at the back. He's going to have to shift those to the middle. And knights are now running in. Those are the converted knights to add insult to injury. However, he does have the unit now, Tristan.
The unit.
He's got it. The unit.
Yeah, so the Manaspa, you get more attack on them the more you get in the group. For every 6 units, you're getting +1 attack on the group. Plus, they've got solid armor. They produce very quickly. They're very cheap. But you do need food eco for that. And that's been a big problem here for Mihai. He does have imp armor, though. And these Cav Archers are important to Sobek's long-term future. He needs to have this Cav Archer mass. He's trying to micro down these Manaspa. These are not elite Manaspa. There's also Cav Archers dying to a castle in the middle. There's a lot happening right now as Sobek is doing this. And Mihai is going to clear it all up in the back of his base. And the Vil count's still even.
Yeah, and I think Mihai just had a really good couple minutes there.
Yep.
Sobek, the shoe was on the other foot, right? There was a lot happening. He clearly couldn't pay attention to all of it. The Cav Archer army tossed away in the middle is brutal. He was at 39 Cav Archers. Now he has 16.
And also,
oh man,
look who's going to struggle really for wood in the middle now.
Yep.
Sobek with some beautiful house walls there to keep those 4 villagers alive. He's going to get upgrades here and maybe be okay. But, like, wood income in the middle is a problem. And also, that's where the majority of the stone is on the map, too, which isn't something we really talked about. The only reason this second castle was possible for Mihai was because he took stone underneath his other castle there.
You know what would be absolutely disgustingly sick for Mihai?
Heavy demo?
Ramens.
Oh, they do get Dramens. Yeah, and you don't need to research anything to unlock it, right? Just one dock, a couple Dramens mixed in with the cav and the skirms could be really strong. I agree.
Even underneath your castles, right? You build a forward castle, you have Dramens underneath there. It's like you have Trebs. And they can shoot down all the cav archers, too.
Look at Mihai.
Really, really
Look
solid.
to this very corner. He knows there's a castle there, and he's trying to loop around. Oh, no, he's just passing. He's just passing. He actually misses the Vils. He's going to go back for them. Sobek reacts. Sobek has built some really nice defensive castles in the corners of the map here, Dave. Knowing the Manaspa would likely go there. Impressive.
He's got wood problems, though. Just like Mihai had.
Yep.
Fortunately, he's only spending, 50 wood for lumber camps, but still running out of space. There's one Manaspa back in that back corner, and I think Mihai, if he pays attention, will realize that there's not that much wood left.
Cav Archer number is growing. That'll obviously be difficult with low numbers on wood. But it's back up to 30. The Manaspa counts down to 1. So it is purely skirms right now.
Is he saving for elite? He must be saving for elite,
Yeah, there's
right?
elite.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
And, like, you don't have to worry with the Manaspa because they produce so quickly that with 2 castles, you could be in a really good spot.
Cav Archer's on the right side, right as Mihai goes out for that. He's either looking for that army or looking to take that gold. He's trying to make a castle there and sees it, so... Won't complete that, but the skirms are on the left, dude. He's raiding with skirms.
Georgian skirms do not get the final armor upgrade, which is a big deal if these cav archers become fully upgraded, with heavy cav archer. Right there, the skirms on the right went down. Obviously, Mihai's looking to the left. He'll snipe some monks, which is nice, but he will still probably lose those skirms against the halbs. And, I like what Mihai's trying to do with his base setup, with his castles. He's trying to go for the super late game and Manaspa with skirm. But I do feel like heavy cav archer and halb is probably the better comp the more I think about it.
Mihai making that castle over on the right side. I think the problem with the heavy cav archer is the same problem that Mihai had last game. He managed to overcome it. But you don't want to split your forces, right?
True.
The Manaspa, all it takes is one bad click, and suddenly you're surrounded by elite Manaspa.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're getting rolled over. It's actually some samurai as well being mixed in here, which is nice. But we have Georgian samurai. Used to have Georgian samurai.
That was the strat I should have said. Georgian samurai. Forget Galleon.
We should have Svan Towers versus Yasuma. That would be sick.
Ooh, that would be really sick. Okay, so this tech here you rarely see because Georgians normally aren't played towards late game. It's like Manaspa or bust from a lot of players. But here, we've gone to late game, and that tech means the cav take up, I think it's 10% less population space. I actually don't know the percentage. But it is a nice tech there to allow Mihai to have more pop. It's 15% less pop space, thank you. Doesn't really have that big an impact when you just have 30 cav, but I mean, extra pop space is extra pop space.
He should just be making samurai right now.
I think samurai could die to these Manaspa pretty quickly. He needs heavy cav archer. These cav archers still are not fully upgraded, and he has the resources here, Sobek. But he is massing Trebs, and he's going to choose a side to pressure soon. It seems like the left side is where Sobek is massing his Trebs. Once he gets 4 of them, he might make a push against the castle.
Yeah. I think samurai actually do well against Manaspa. They do well against Lattice, which are better.
Yeah.
So I think they will do... I've never seen the direct unit comparison.
Ooh,
but they're also slower. So.
Look at this line of blue bodies on the right. Sobek's trying to loop up and group up these cav archers, but he's lost a lot. And now there's Manaspa in the back, and Mihai, who is 3 relics behind this, who has more control of the wood and the stone in the middle, is going to start to pick Sobek apart. Crazy foresight from him to think about this in Dark Age and Feudal Age. And he's taking really good engagements. The skirms are killing most of the halbs on the left. He's coming with a castle now. Sobek needs to use those traps right away.
Oh, Manaspa on the right, too. Oh, God. There's 3 separate pushes here. There's the Manaspa in the back, which you can't deal with. There's the Manaspa over on the right, which you hopefully can deal with the castle if Mihai isn't paying attention. And then there's the castle push over on the left, which might even be the least important front.
Yeah, which is fair.
Because you're losing all your eco.
And the thing is, Sobek, he's only noticed 2 of the 3 spots we pointed out. Mm-hmm. He's dealing with the one next to his starting TC.
50 pop.
But he just lost 50 bills.
50 pop.
Crazy losses for him. But Mihai did lose a castle. Mihai chose the wrong side to castle push there because Sobek was saving those trebs. So that was good for Sobek, but it is never good if you're Japanese, if you're researching light cab in late game. That tells you've run out of options. Light cab for Japanese are very weak against something like skirmisher still.
Look at Mihai's Manaspa number, 40. Look at his food in the bank.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, dude.
And all of these cav are taking up less population and they're healing.
Yep. They heal over time. They've got 14 plus 6 attack. They've insane damage per second. And it feels like Mihai is close to closing this one out. And this is what he wanted. He actually wanted late game against Japanese. Crazy.
Yeah, this seems over.
It's really hard to know.
Sobek isn't even in the middle.
Yeah.
He's not even in the middle, dude. I love the stone in the middle over on the right with the 3 mule carts just kind of chilling there.
And the skirm and the Manaspa just catching up. They're old middle school buddies catching up. They haven't seen each other in years. Oh man, Sobek gets torn apart by the Manaspa raids, but it wasn't just the Manaspa. It was the eco and the patience from Mihai this game. And he goes up 2-0 here, collected 10,000 more resources. And that is probably the most unique Georgians play that we have seen in the entire qualifier so far.
Yep, and I think it might be a little bit more popular in the main event. Like you said, it looked like classic top 5 player greed.
Yep.
You just wall up, you adapt to whatever comes your way. So far, 2 games like this where Mihai is full walled. Sobek needs to adapt at this point. Sobek needs to start piling on some aggression because he might be comfortable sitting and booming behind his own walls, but Mihai is dictating the pace of the game and booming at the same time. So...
yeah, a bit more army from Sobek,
difficult.
right? We didn't see a lot of army production in game 1. We didn't see a ton of army production in game 2. And I think Sobek's now sitting here like, oh, crap. Because he would have thought, I want the games to be boomy against Mihai. Mm-hmm. Now, Mihai's showing him that he's actually the better player when it goes to this type of game too. So I can't say enough about Mihai, though. When he lost to Winchester and we knew there was the backup qualifier, I just thought in my mind, he played so good. He had to be the favorite here. And he's just playing incredible. Like, it is virtually flawless play. And between him, like, his eco, his micro, his military, his patience, and then the fact that he picks yellow every game, if he makes the main event, it's going to be a really good player to have in there for people to try and guess who is who then. Oh, man. Mihai has just looked that good. Here he is with the Burgundians, and after the previous game, he's probably going to want to wall up and boom a little bit, as Gold Rush tends to do that. The map for Sobek is not the best for the full walls to protect the gold. The stone would be good, but he will have to work a little bit harder. These golds are
golds are horrible.
Yep.
They're horrible. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, that might be one of the worst golds I've ever seen on the left side.
AoE God said, good luck, bud, being down 2 games already.
But he's playing in Spanish, so is it the worst thing ever for his Civ? Maybe not. At least he has a stone in the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess it depends on how you think it's going to play out here. You have kind of 2 options. We have seen players go for scouts, but as the games have gone up in as the players have gone up in caliber, I've seen a lot of players just full wall and play fast castles. So if there's no aggression whatsoever from Mihai, Sobek can still wall. The gold will be forward, but it's not like we're going to see archers from Mihai.
Do you think Mihai should go scouts here?
Do you
think you're ever going to stop that castle if Sobek really wants to get it?
That's a fair point. Yeah. Maybe like scouts at least puts on some level of pressure. Yeah. I think just based on how Mihai's played this, I think Mihai's going to full wall, dude. Like he has shown that he loves his full wall. The only thing that's making me think against that is he thinks his golds are much worse than they really are right now.
I mean, his golds are actually pretty bad. They're just not as bad as Sobek.
Yeah.
like they're still bad, man. That front one is awful.
Yeah.
The one over to the right is more wallable, but then you start thinking, damn, if I want to go monk defense against conks,
True.
I'm going to need that gold, and then I'm going to have to wall way far out from that to secure it at all.
I think this actually changes the whole approach of the game for both, because so frequently we've seen players go for the 3 TCs in their base, but if you're going to walk forward to TC this gold, why not just walk a little bit further and TC the middle gold? Like, it's already, like, that's going to be exposed, and at least you're protecting more of it and have the hill, so, yeah.
It honestly could be, like, scout opening from both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think
Which
it makes sense.
I wouldn't hate.
And I actually think, the more I think about it, like if it's fast castle against fast castle, I think the Spanish player really struggles economically to be able to make a lot of conks and still boom.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's scouts into conquistadors, by the time you get to castle, you've got a lot of food banked up from the farms. And then it might actually
got like
be
12,
better.
13 farms. Yeah.
So we'll see. But for now, both players just pushing in their zebra. We do see some walling. But because Mihai doesn't see that other wood line to the north of that 3-tile gold, I don't know if he could truly envision a wall which incorporates his gold right now.
I think he'll assume there's a wood line there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It almost feels like 21, 22 pop feudal from here. I don't know. Does he wall from the house around the 4-tile golds? It's just awkward.
21's pretty late, though.
Yeah. It's late. Walling with a Vil. Did end up getting...
Dude, do you remember when 22 pop scouts was like normal?
It was standard. Yeah, it's like, oh man, he's going 21 pop here.
Oh my god, Mongols? 20 pop scouts? Holy.
I mean, I can't even think... It's wild to just think of the things that I say dealt with as if it wasn't still amazing, but not being able to like shift queue, like to queue up things.
Dude, I think the biggest difference is one that we forget about a lot is the map scripting, having the sheep automatically near your TC.
Oh yeah, the maps are like this map in 2014 is like a dream for Sobek. It's like, oh, it's great.
When you used to play Chinese used to be ranked so low in terms of like tournament play because half the time you would spend the first 30 seconds running in circles with your Vils looking for sheep. You never had them. Like you would go to the berries. Yep. Remember that?
Yep. Yeah, you just build a mill right away or like stand on the berries with your 6 Vils, get the food, go back. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, everything. I mean, in some ways the game is more punishing than ever, but when it comes to the game itself and the ease of playing and the quality of life features and the map scripts, the game is also much easier in a lot of ways. So I guess you could kind of be on like either side of it. Like back in my day, you know, losing one villager didn't kill you, you know, whereas people think that today. Or like back in my day, you know, I had to walk up 10 tiles to get my sheep, you know. But it is a wall game, and both players have done a very similar thing where they use the gold as part of their wall. So thankfully, I was a little concerned here for Sobek after seeing the map initially. I was like, oh god,
please,
this could be bad.
Please wall that edge, Sobek. Yeah, he knows about it. Okay, good.
Kind of funny, both of their scouts are in the same corner right now. I think Sobek's just going to double check. Yep, he does know that's open. So,
corner check.
You're thinking conks? Fast Castle conks here from Sobek?
It has to be, dude. Why else are you picking Spanish here?
Yeah. It's just
There's no other reason. I know, but there's no other reason. Why?
Yeah.
Like, unless you're trying for some like Giga Brain play where you just actually boom with Spanish and he's got counters ready with Burgundians, but he's probably going to scout that and he's going to make the same things against your conks that he would make if he was booming. He's going to make monks anyway, so...
Yeah, someone's mentioning some other things like back then if you had, let's say, 20 food on your hands and you accidentally misclicked a tree.
Oh, yeah.
You just lose the food. Whereas now you actually have to chop the tree to lose the food. So it gives you time to realize.
If you had people gathering sheep and you clicked onto the boar, I believe you would drop off the food would disappear.
Yeah, I think, it might have been Age of Kings?
That might have been
I think that was fixed in Conquerors?
Kings. Or...
I don't know.
Dude, I have so many conflicting things.
Yeah.
The game's been changed way too many times. But I know that if you were chopping a tree and then you even clicked over once to like stone or whatever, you would just drop all your wood. Disappear into the ether.
Do you remember the bet that we made at the bar in Berlin about camels?
You'll have to be more specific.
We didn't make many bets with camels.
we've had bets at bars before.
Okay,
what was the camel
the
bet?
one with the camel. I mean, I'm not going to remind you because I put money on it and lost. So
which bar was it?
But there was only one bar, bro. We went to the same.
the attack on the camel. Yes.
Okay.
Everyone lost that. Tato didn't realize it. Doubt didn't realize it. Nilly didn't realize it. Viper didn't know.
Well, say what you claimed and what we all didn't believe, and then we fact checked.
I
and you were
said
right.
camels used to have 5 attack.
And I was
and
like,
they were
no
like,
way.
no, they've always had 6. And I'm like, remember, no one used to play camels because they were off. And everyone said, nope, they've always had 6. And we looked it up, and they had 5.
Yep.
Somebody knows how to read.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? And apparently it was Age of Kings.
No. It was forgotten that came in. So we had so many tournaments with only 5 attack camels.
Well, that's wild to me.
That's
wild.
Remember,
to me.
think back to it. People never used to make camels. If they saw knights, they would make knights to counter the knights.
Yeah, but there's other reasons. There's more complexities to this. It's not.
I know, but camels sucked, dude, and they couldn't kill vills. They couldn't kill buildings. They couldn't kill anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe. I remember. I remember not seeing camels, so I'm sure it contributed.
Knights used to beat camels in a 1v1.
I mean, knights can still beat camels. You get
Yeah,
2 monks with a group of knights, and those camels are still running away.
But they used to just straight up beat them.
Yeah. Well, we got what we thought we were going to get from Sobek, and if he has any chance to qualify for the main event of Hidden Cup 5, this is it, right? If he thought the Manaspa was OP, a new unit, it's so easy for us to be like, this thing's new, it's broken raw, because we're not used to it. Fair enough. But the Spanish Conquistador has been around a long time, and this unit is so incredibly strong. This is the unit that he needs to get a win on the board here. Losing here, going down 3, would probably eliminate all hope that he could be in the main event of Hidden Cup. So
Boom comes out now as he stretches out for that first TC, and Sobek is gonna TC as no, he's got a castle. Here. Yeah.
Okay,
but it's not forward. Oof.
And he did the right thing as we were talking to scout out. I think he might have caught a glimpse of an extra scout. Mihai actually built his stable in the back of his base. He didn't build it on the front. So if this was a forward castle, Mihai could have maybe denied it. So I like that Sobek's playing passive. But let's say you know it's going to be Conquistadors. What do you do here if you're Mihai?
Make sure you're double walled, monks, and boom.
Yeah, monks and boom, and hope you get the conversions. Because if you're looking away for a second, you could lose all your
Sanctity
monks.
Is also very important.
That's true.
If you can afford it.
Yeah, extra HP could be really helpful. And now he knows his Conquistadors. We also have the Monastery from Sobek. So the thing is, the Burgundian player has been working with a very nice eco for some time. He's had feudal age upgrades in the Dark Age, and he had the Castle Age eco upgrades in the Feudal Age. Doesn't have the farming tech, but still. Really smooth eco for him. And he's got 3 town centers right now, so he will definitely have a villager lead. So Sobek needs to make sure that his military makes all the difference here.
I think as long as he gets those monks out to that TC on the gold, if he has like 2 in there, he can just hop in and out.
Yeah.
And try and convert the conks. It's going to be super annoying for Sobek to approach. I think he should be fine, provided that he double walls the left side or has some contingency plan for the conks getting in over there.
Okay, I like how Sobek is bringing the scout here. That scout is the monk killer in the group.
That conk's never going to hit this guy. Yeah, he's just miss.
If you've never seen a Conquistador before, we're not lying. They are strong. They are strong. Trust me, believe us.
Watch this one at home. Miss. Oh, he hit.
Nah, he's hitting.
Oh my god, he hit again.
How dare you slander the Conquistador?
They only miss for me. I've had them miss half a tile away from a villager before.
I think they did. Oh, I've heard your complaints. I think they have I think that was like 2 years ago they were really bad.
No, that's propaganda, dude. They haven't fixed anything.
Okay.
Like they missed the wolf.
Well, the wolf was moving. They don't have ballistics. You got to get away from those monks. And I was just going to say, the big thing here is you can't go in with 1 or 2 conks. You get to 6, and they just shred everything. And then
And devotion.
if half the units do miss, the other 3 are still hitting, and the other 3 are getting the kill because of so much damage. So, oh man, Sobek. I mean, I really like the start. He hasn't lost a Conquistador against a monk yet, and he's still on stone, Dave. Like, he could drop a castle at some point forward on that TC if he really wants to.
He needs to be devoted, though.
Yeah, I think it might be worth it. If he sees the
Watch
monks, he
this.
will want to kill them.
Miss.
He's running away.
Oh, okay, Ran. That's probably the correct decision. The conversions were targeted before he even realized that the monks were there. So, good job from him. He's still got 6 conks, and he has 2 town centers as well. So it's not terrible. There's devotion right there. Stalls out the villager production a little bit to be able to afford that. And if he gets the castle on the gold, it'll open up all sorts of opportunities for him. We could see this villager difference just swing completely.
Yeah, I think you can place a castle that is still towards the middle, but also ranges that gold. But honestly, I think both players have played this pretty flawlessly so far. The ecos looked really good considering how they built up. It's expected the Burgundian player will have the lead. I like the amount of monks from Mihai. I like how he's staying underneath the TC. And those conks almost got a kill there. The spearman's back for more. And now he dies. And that's actually our first kill of the game right there, believe it or not.
Fervor Sanctity monks with 5 of them is so risky to push, but you just gotta kind of take the chance, miss, and well, he gets away.
Dude, that was
devoted,
close.
I suppose.
Devotion really helped there. You see conversions there sometimes, but with Devotion coming in, you can have a little bit more confidence, and Mihai's booming, and he loses a monk just like that. He's lucky, though, that he didn't lose more.
Oh, nice quick wall from Sobek at home. The scouts were looking to come in, and he still doesn't have loom.
He's getting it now. He's getting it now.
That was a great job.
Let's see, how many villagers are going to come forward for this castle? Sobek says, I don't care about your town center. Man, the fact that Sobek's firing uphill is actually hugely problematic in these engagements. I think he would have killed a couple more monks if it was on even ground.
I honestly think this is a spot where maybe you don't even go for the castle on the upper ground. You go for it in that middle ravine area. Oh, these conversions, man. How has he not gotten a single conversion? He's devoted, dude. He's devoted.
The devotion tech has made such a big difference here.
Make the castle in the ravine, like just on the edge of the hill. I know it's tempting to always want to make it on the hill, but those monks are so dangerously positioned. Like,
I want a statement castle here, Sobek. I want a statement castle. Look at Mihai. He knows this could come. He knows this is the standard thing. He's got the outposts up. Where are we going here? Sobek wants it on both TCs, maybe?
He just wants it over there on the flat ground, but now he's going to have to chop that straggler tree to just put it in the ravine. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I agree. Mihai's trying to block that off with houses. He's going to place it there. That's okay.
That's not terrible. That's good, yeah.
Will it go up? Because those monks could convert the conquistadors still, or the villagers. And you don't want to engage here against the monks because you could lose the conks, but then if you lose all your vills, you're suddenly going to be 30 vills behind.
Just convert them back.
That's a fake, dude. You see how many times Mihai stopped converting?
I know. He doesn't want to take the vills because, I mean, it works out either way for Sobek. If he takes the vills, Sobek's like, you're out of juice.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I'm going to still complete this castle, and then I can come in and kill the monks with the cons.
So
but here he
monks.
Comes. Snipes one. Still has not even converted a singular unit.
Dave.
This game.
Dave, look at Mihai's TC, though. If the castle was in the ravine, this TC is never a possibility. The gold would be denied right now, but the gold is not denied. It's such a good job from Mihai to recognize that, though. And it seemed like he was unhappy about that castle spot. Like he wanted to deny it with the houses, but in the end, this is way better for him. His monks still are not leaving the protection of the TC. And if he can get his own castle up and get up to Imp, the monks can get only stronger. He can make trebuchets, and this could be great for him.
It's kind of frustrating to me, the fact that Sobek is just now sending conks to the back of Mihai's eco.
Oh, yeah, true.
Like, he hasn't even tried to come in there. He's going to notice just palisade walls, and now he's going to go over to the left side, but there's a giant wood line in between him and the economy, and Mihai has positioned himself perfectly to stop these conks from pushing.
I think it's hit a point where you hear the wall of those and you get scared. I'm sorry, Mihai, but there's no way you're converting 11 separate conks with these monks. You might get 5. And so if the monks venture far enough away, I really think at a certain point, Sobek just has to take the engagement.
Light cav is in, and the conks are almost in on the back walls. Ooh. So things are going to get really difficult here, and almost enough stone, definitely enough gold to buy stone for another castle as Mihai goes up to Imp, and he tries to put a castle down on the left side here. The conks are coming in, Tristan. Where are the monks? The monks are trying to move their way back. Is this the moment that you just engage?
I would love to see it. I'd love to see it, but you're never going to do it as a player. You're never going to do it because you don't want to lose those conks, and you know the castle's going to go up anyways, and Mihai finally gets a conk conversion. The castle is so key to this position, and this has to be all in castle age. We are not finished, guys. Light Cav can still kill monks, even if it's just castle age, and the Treb, or 2 or 3, however many Mihai makes, they're going to be exposed. So I still think Sobek's got a solid opportunity here. Mihai's done a great job, but he could always lose his monks with one bad engagement.
Monks are going to try and go through the houses. Mihai has to reposition the monks. I think the bigger problem than the Trebs for Sobek is going to be block printing.
Yeah, true.
And like illumination and all those monk techs, right? It's going to be really, really brutal.
Look at the stone walls from Mihai.
Walls. I love them.
Still conks on the other side. And Sobek killed some vills and it backs away. He actually goes back in to kill the monks. He's going to kill one of them. He might kill 2 of them. Has the other group still that could still break through. He's taking out a TC. The monks can't leave the TCs right now. Actually, you know what? Sobek might see these stone walls, and he might choose to just go back to the middle. I think the stone wall goes down so fast to conks. Just stay. You will take that wall down. It won't take very long. Oh, man. What a mess. We have another castle from Sobek. He's going to drop another forward castle here.
Oh, my God. Right where near the TC from Mihai. And that's what he needs to do. If you're going to stay in Castle Age, you need to do that. He's also going for Rams, Tristan.
Yeah.
So he's going to try and push this castle for Mihai, or maybe push the Trebs. There's actually houses there, not stone walls. So the Conk army is getting in, and the monks are out of position. They're not here. They're not here. They're not here.
This is insane. The Light Cav will commit for Sobek finally on some monks. He will lose some of these Light Cav, but the goal is to kill monks, which he will do. And his castle will go up. The Conks are in on the other side, and Sobek was patient. And finally, he's finding the kills he wants, but he's still in Castle Age. So this could still be so bad for him.
It's not so bad. It's so back. Push.
Dude, I was waiting. I was waiting for a moment to make that joke. I'm glad you did it. It felt a lot more natural. I mean, nothing about this feels natural for Mihai, dude. Like, he is going to have to evacuate his main base right now and come to the middle. And his monks have gone down. He's got 14 monks
14 in the queue.
Out of 2 monasteries.
6 of them on the field. He unqueues some of that, and suddenly there's 800 gold in the bank. That looks nice.
Yeah.
But the Trebs are, like, a little bit exposed if they want to attack these castles, right? His defensive castle is so far away. I think this is kind of chalked here for Mihai, unless he can extend his control to some of the other gold spots. It's going to be really, really rough.
If Sobek finds these villagers that are building this market, because that's his wood eco, if he finds that, this game is over. Well, wood eco is a big problem, more than anything right now. Oh, man, the other side. Destruction from these Conquistadors. Still counts even now. There's still that Treb, though. That's got to be Sobek's focus right now.
All right, Sobek, now's the time. Send the villas forward, steal all the farms.
Mihai is counterattacking with a Conquistador he converted. That is such a good thing to think about in these moments. He's doing it with more of them, too. Sobek will not expect that.
Well, he's targeted that guy for conversion. He still has the castle at home, and he's got a defensive conk of his own. It's definitely going to hurt, but it's not hurting as much as the conks in the base as the villagers come out here to rush down the ram. Oh, boy.
Conk number's at 10 for Sobek. The conk number is at 6 for Mihai. Mihai has a Treb. Mihai has gold. Mihai has monks with 12 range now, which can convert more conks. In fact, there's more monks going through. I think Mihai actually has a chance to survive this.
Oh, he definitely does now that he's got the town center on the left.
Yeah.
He's expanded, right?
How?
And he's converting more. He, like I said, block printing, man. Illumination.
Yep.
So brutal. And Sobek is kind of stuck in the loop of just staying in Castle Age. Garrison those conks, please. Just garrison them. Just garrison them.
Oh, no! He might lose more. He loses 3 conks underneath his own castle there. Crazy.
And look at the Conquistadors in his base.
Wow, these Conquistadors. What a play, dude. Of all the things Mihai has done, this is another example of a player who knows what's up in messy situations. It's so good to do this. So many players would just use the conks defensively, which would also still make sense. He showed us with the eco in this series so far. Now he's showing us with the eco and the monks. And there's still 13 monks on the field. He's going to take a castle down from Sobek. Sobek's got to be thinking, how do I break this guy? He's got as many conks as I do right now. And he has the monks. And he's in imp. Crazy performance from Mihai. I think, Dave, you need one big engagement if you're Sobek on a group of monks. One big engagement. I don't know how you find it, because the best time to find it was when it was messy. But you've got to hope that you can clear out the monks, because if you clear out the monks, you can clear out those trebs.
Well, there's 15 of them, so I don't know, honestly, how you're going to clear out the monks.
Yeah,
especially with the pikemen there. I think it's really, really tough. Man, he had such a moment, but he just couldn't keep it together long enough, right? Couldn't coordinate. He got so many units converted, and then they just came right back. Like you said, good raids with the conks. They're there again.
And I know Mihai lost.
Posing a threat again.
I know Mihai lost 47 vills this game. He should have lost 80.
Yep.
Right? Like, the fact he only lost 47 is impressive. And here we go. Big fight. He does leave his trebs, but the pikes are there, like you said. He has to make sure he's getting conversions on the conks, and he does. He's killing them all. The castle is down, and Mihai is going to win this and then be up 3-0. What a crazy hold from him.
Jeez, man. Oh, I don't know how you live that. I really don't know how you live that. That's crazy. Even being imp, just excellent ability to get the conversions on the Conquistadors while everything is just burning in your base. And then expanding outwards, running with the vills to the left is beautiful. Keeping the Treb war going in the center, even gate walling off those Trebs at one point. Just really, really nice.
Someone says, I think this is the best example of how quickly this game turned around. Someone said, wait, how did he lose? I was gone 2 minutes. Right? Like, it looked so bad for Mihai.
Yeah, and then someone else is like, which one?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you were gone for 10 minutes, you would assume Mihai was going to win the game. If you're only gone for 5 minutes, you'd assume Sobek was going to win the game. So.
Now here's the thing. The monks and the trebs were the key, but the monks and the trebs were only possible because of this gold that Mihai took with 30 villagers underneath the castle. And the initial castle spot for Sobek, if he placed it in the ravine, it would have covered 3 gold areas. And maybe Mihai ends up taking one of the other golds, but those other golds are way easier for Sobek to deny. So everything Sobek did in this game was great. I think his aggression was incredible. But I think if his castle was in a better position, I think it'd become so much more difficult for Mihai here.
There's a tendency you have to always want to put your castle on a hill.
Yeah.
And it's a good one in general, but I think there's instances where it's actually better to put it down low.
Yeah, and I actually think in his mind, you always want your castles to hit the opponent's eco. And in his mind, he saw the double TC stack. Yeah. And so he thought, if I can get a castle between both those TCs, I eliminate wood, the gold in the middle, and his starting eco, and then I win the game. And unfortunately, the castle he did end up placing, and well played to Mihai, because Mihai kind of blocked the other foundation, but the castle he did end up placing just hit one of the TCs. Mihai instantly just shifted over to the other one. But again, that is simplifying it, and nothing that Mihai did here was simple. That was crazy aggression from Sobek. And, I mean, the hype is real for Mihai. He is not a player that is easy to beat right now, and he's 1 win away from moving into the main event of Hidden Cup 5.
Sobek needs to win this one. Vikings versus Italians on islands, and we've got a fairly standard island distribution here, so both players should know where each other is. Who do you prefer, Italians or Vikings?
I mean, I would have said coming into Hidden Cup qualifier that I would prefer the Italians. I think the cheap fishing ships, cheap dock techs, the early Imperial Age window, it's just so strong for them. But now, the more I think about it, I'm just like, I've seen so many games where the Vikings come back and win when they've lost a lot on water. They've been landed, which I never thought would happen. And I got to say, maybe Vikings. Like, if you can get to longboats, I think Vikings might actually be the superior civ here.
I mean, maybe. They are taking better trades with the longboats, and that's wood down the drain, right? And this map usually comes down to wood.
Yeah.
Almost every single game.
Yeah, and this island generation is pretty, shall we say, round for both of them. Sometimes you can have a narrow island, which could be bad if you're surrounded by longboats. There is one area where all the gold seems to be for Mihai, but there's no real space, and I don't think Sobek would ever land anyways. But if he did deny this, Sobek, he would be sending us to a 5th game. But just more generally on this qualifier, there's been some really uneven scorelines, I guess, over the past 2 days. The goal of the qualifier is to get the best players into the main event, and I'm feeling really good about the fact we had the backup qualifier now, because if we didn't have something like that, like Mihai lost to Vinch, who's a god, and now having this chance, he's just showing everybody, like, yeah,
well, look at
I
Hart
deserve to be
Tato
there.
as well.
Yeah.
Like Hart's probably the favorite in the second chance qualifiers, and he got dummied by Tato.
Yeah.
So that shows you that having that second bracket is really, really important.
Yeah, I think the player who would have wished the second chance came earlier is maybe freaking Andy, who had to face up against a crazy Sebastian in the earlier rounds. And Sebastian, I think, maybe this is something for a talk show, but I think Sebastian's actually been the most impressive player.
He hasn't
in the
lost a
entire
game.
Qualifier. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's that, right?
Yep.
Even Tato lost a game against Turs.
Dude, I love that the number 1 seed in the qualifier lost a game to number 96.
Well, I mean, he picked polls against Georgians on Gold Rush and then got Manaspa'd.
Yeah.
And polls don't really have anything against that unit. So.
Which we learned in that game. I don't think we've seen that matchup since.
This is a learning process for sure. I also like how Sato lost the game to Salted Pepper.
Yeah, true, dude. I mean, the early rounds were wild. There were a lot of players who, there are a lot of players who were nervous in the best of 3s. The funniest one to me, I covered a set with Margugu yesterday, and I asked him if he knew that the player he played in the first round was a player who was playing at a high level in like 2003. And I was like, did you know that guy is like, has been around as long?
Who was it?
And it's a Brazilian player, NY4. It's like Naya. But
Yeah.
So he plays. I think we played against him in team games many times, actually. So, anyways, I brought that up to Margugu. Margugu goes, no, but after the series, Dogal and Miguel messaged me and were like, you almost lost to a 40-year-old, you pleb. Which I thought was funny. So, anyways, back dock for Sobek. So maybe the meta is with Vikings, get to longboats as quickly as possible, and we might see fast castle here. And then front dock here from Mihai, which indicates some level of aggression. And I think, I'm not sure if you agree with this, that transporting against the Vikings is almost a must. I think it is so good to make it messy against them here.
I think maybe in Castle Age. I don't know about early.
Okay. I think it
the problem
is a player
is
preference thing too, right?
Yeah. Like it's always tough wanting to go transport onto an island where your opponent's going to have wheelbarrow or handcart for their vills if they spot you right away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, I'm going to get hunted down and just boxed or stabbed or whatever the villagers do.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have agreed with your statement there had I not seen the MBL Ganji game.
Yeah.
Because MBL just kept running away. I think he had like 4 villagers that were below 5 HP that he saved because of that speed boost there. Anyways, there's going to be the transport ship.
Is it a fast castle approach here from Sobek? I mean, he's really kind of delaying his feudal age click, and he queues up 2 more villagers, so it looks like it's going to be that style of game. And Mihai is going to transport, like you said. Yeah, he's coming.
All right, so the normal thing here is to see the barracks at home. The main reason for that is by the time your villagers get to the enemy island, you want to be able to build your next building. So we'll see if Mihai waits for the barracks, because if he waits for the barracks, that's another building that his opponent could spot. He's on the move. He passes the neutral islands. He's also queuing up a fire galley, which will go out to find some fish. And he's looking, and he's hoping to find the enemy island, and he's going to find it now. And this is going to be a barracks now. So I actually am not a big fan of the fact that the barracks is something he waited for, because the barracks isn't really the biggest part of this attack, but it also could help him in the future. There's a forward dock as well from Mihai. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, the barracks timing is always so tough on these maps, be it islands or team islands or anywhere where you're going to land. You want that barracks there so you can support with spearmen. And also you don't want to spend the time to build a barracks at home, but you're losing out on the potential to make military right away.
Yeah. And you do feel like in these situations, you really need to get some damage in because the opponent's just chilling with more vills, taking it easy. But so far, Sobek, he might have some suspicions.
Sobek spotted it. I think he's going to spot the scout here. No. Oh, he spot just
now
a little glimpse?
Now,
a little glimpse?
Yep, he saw it.
There we go.
He knows now. And so this should tell him there's more aggression coming. There's a spearman attacking his wood line now. And all hell is going to break loose. And this is what you want to do against the Vikings. Because if they get to those longboats, they can dominate you. You do not want to give them the freedom and the time. And with Mihai being 3-0 up, that could also stack on you a little bit too if you're Sobek and add some extra pressure here.
One spearman dead is actually really nice. He can take this scout fight in comfort, push him away, and then get the walls up. Really, really solid job clearing up that spear.
Scout goes down, though.
He thought he could do it, but it's buying him time. It's definitely buying him time to wall up.
Okay, so Town Watch is a good tech from Sobek. His fish are starting to get hit. He hasn't made any ships yet because he needs his buildings to go up to the next stage. This is the risk of Fast Castle. He was able to save that villager for now. His fishing ships are still alive, but there's double dock fire galley, and Mihai's actually producing from that forward dock. So it's a shorter distance to get to the enemy fish here, which is, I think, the reasoning for it.
It's going to be tough, even if Sobek gets up to Castle Age here, to be able to afford the longboats, right? With having to invest in all this defense, as he's clicked up to the Castle Age. There's a tower now going on the backside of that wood line, and wood is going to be the bigger issue than gold supply.
Yep.
For Sobek, is all these quick walls, even the tower costs wood, the repairs cost wood, everything costs wood.
Okay, so big thing here. I was just thinking, this is obviously not going to be a good situation on land. So you need your tower to defend as much as possible. And this tower feels natural right now for Sobek. But if you really think about it, he's going to need a tower that protects his gold and his wood. And this just protects one wood line. So
he can't even range the vill, dude.
Yeah, now that tower, maybe he ends up taking that wood. But the other areas could be a concern. He's on his way up. Nice shot from Sobek. He figures the walls on the other areas can defend him. But, I mean, all of his fishing ships have been clicked away, and this pressure from Mihai has been amazing here.
It's really difficult when your opponent has a transport ship and has landed you to get effective walls up. Because you basically have to wall in a circle like this. You can't wall to the shoreline.
Yeah, true.
You'll just transport around as that villager finally dies. 2 villager kills for Mihai here. They'll just transport around and drop it off in your base. So Sobek has actually done a fairly good job of that. Still needs to clear up that tower on the front side.
I think if he goes...
really brutal.
I think if he goes Siege Workshop and 1 Scorpion, his eco's fine. And Mihai is not taking out his docks, which is, I think, a really big thing to do here. The fishing ships also have survived. Who knows if they will, long term, but longboats can win the water big time. And if a Scorpion is made to defend from this, I actually think Sobek can end up being okay. We've seen it many times before. He hasn't lost that much. And he's still keeping this army out for now. Siege Workshop goes up next to his TC. Dude, I would have loved the Siege Workshop on the gold instead.
I mean, he might just make a town center over there. He's collecting stone right now.
Oh, true.
With all these vills. So they'll be heading back with enough stone, either for a tower or for a town center. His fish are being cleared up now by a fire galley. They've been found. Haven't been fishing in a while. But here come the longboats. Unfortunately, longboats are at the back.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, this is just, it's so much pressure, right? Like, how has Sobek not lost more here? He's saving a lot of vills. He does have a scorpion on the way. He's going to shoot down the other tower. I think. Is this going to shift? And Sobek might actually be okay. I know it's hard to believe that right now if you're watching this and you see the scoreline, but this defense has been very impressive.
Longboats are out. Suddenly the fire galleys are going to have issues, but I mean, they don't even have fletching, Tristan. He can't afford fletching unless he unqueues villagers.
Yeah, that's true.
So these longboats are a lot more underwhelming than they initially appear.
I think it was the MBL game where he only had fletching. No, it wasn't MBL. There was another one where the player only had fletching, and they were still killing Castle Age ships. So I think there is some hope here for Sobek, even without that upgrade. Apparently,
God, that tower on the wood line was so bad for Sobek.
True.
It was so bad. He still hasn't even cleared that.
Yeah. I do think we've seen wheelbarrow pay off, and handcart now, of course, with the vill speed, though. In some of these instances where the villagers were getting hit on houses, and what the... Oh my god, that TC! Sobek deleted the walls there, and he's going to drop a TC on the wood line. My goodness.
It's fine. It's only archers with 2 spearmen and a 1 HP scout, so not the biggest deal ever. He will get the TC up. He still has 35 villagers somehow, even after all of that pressure. He only lost... It says 7, but I think only 2 of those were vills. Because he lost 5 fishing ships, I believe. And the longboats are coming forward. Still no fletching. We'll see if he remembers that he doesn't have fletching.
Town Watch upgrade will show Sobek his opponent's going to go siege. So he's adding his own mangonel, but behind that, what he doesn't see is there's also a stable, which means it could be knights from Mihai. And knights can run in and snipe the siege if the walls aren't completely down. If he saw that stable, Dave, he would plug that gap and he would be completely fine. If it's open, monks are going to be needed here. But he's still trying to micro on water. And Dave, every time someone's transporting, people assume it's back dock. Look where Sobek is with his longboats right now.
Yep.
He's not going to find anything back there. Crazy pressure.
He's looking around. Still no fletching on those, so the fires can easily deal with that longboat army.
Mihai's going to be like, oh, he's back there? Why is he back there? Okay, good to know. Because he's been waiting on the front. Nice attack round. Nice shot there from Sobek as Mihai, doing too many different things, loses his mangonel. Now Sobek needs damage control. I could see a quick wall being possible here if he notices.
Quick wall, gate. No, not in time. Mangonel goes down for free, basically. Well, maybe.
Yeah, it's going to go down. It's going to go down, and that's brutal.
Not for free, though. Half HP off the knight. That's perfect. What a deal. Oh, my God.
Fire ships have taken out the dock in the back from Sobek. And now fire ships are hitting some of the longboats on the other side for Sobek, and he loses 2 ships, and Sobek, with such a good run in this bracket, has met his match finally, and this is...
His food eco is really struggling, too.
It's
no fishing
apart.
ships. Even with handcart, only 6 farms, right? You need to afford fletching. You need to afford vills from 2 TCs. It's just simply not happening. And there's more mangonels on the way now for Mihai. This is really, really brutal, and Sobek has to respect the possibility of the knights, too.
I mean, Mihai's just everywhere. It's a very well-executed landing. He has his opponent completely surrounded, and yet he has not forgotten about the water. This is perfect islands play. And it is so difficult. Like, I think Sobek played well in defense, but it's so difficult to play into those strong longboats when you're the Vikings if this type of game happens. And you can see it on the front now. All those longboats were forgotten about for a second, and he's losing them. It's also really hard to perform at your best when you're down 3-0 and you feel that your opponent is going to win the series. And then, of course, there's expectations and everything.
Yeah. The way the games have gone have just been... They just have not favored Sobek at all.
Yeah.
It's played towards his style. The first 2 games, he lost. Then the third game, he felt like he had a moment there. He lost. And now this one, it's just been damage control the entire time. And he hasn't gotten any significant damage on Mihai whatsoever.
Yeah, and Mihai is just always, feels like he's always one step ahead. Nice micro here. Villagers and Mangonel could go down. Mihai, beautiful shot, doesn't get the kill. Sobek still staying alive. He does add a forward dock to add more longboats. But Mihai is 1 win away from I think his greatest run in his short career compared to other pros in the scene. He's been around a couple years, but as you said, tried the whole full-time age thing. I think stepped away from that a bit. Still's been grinding, still been playing the game, just not all day, every day. And I mean, man, does he have the skill to compete in this scene?
Doc denied as well. Man, and the scout is coming in from the other side. He's like 1 HP. Come on!
No!
Oh, the monk burns. The monk burns, and now Mangonel even goes down for Sobek. Mihai gets away with that. Nothing is going right. Everything is falling apart for Sobek.
Oh, man. I mean, he does have the Scorpion over on the other side, but yeah, that's not a positive. And it's another 4-0. Mihai makes it clear. There's no question. He is top 16, and he will be in the main event of Hidden Cup 5. Cannot wait to see a player who's this good, this well-rounded, this greedy at times, and who also picks yellow hidden in the main event. I think it'll be a lot of fun with Mihai playing.
Yep. Great job there from Mihai. Sobek, I mean, had a good run, right? He's constantly getting better, but Mihai just brought it today, and Sobek it felt like he just didn't have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, for the players who have come this far and lost, there's about $700 that they win. The qualifier in and of itself is still has a lot of money involved in it. So players feel like this wasn't a waste of their time and effort, but obviously it's going to hurt. The money's there, but he really wanted to win and qualify, I'm sure. So hopefully Sobek realizes how good this run was and uses it as a chance to build on in the future. But yeah, Mihai, 20 years old, crazy aggression. And the most impressive thing for me was how he was able to play different styles. He could play aggressive, or he could play extremely defensive and passive and win the late game, like we saw in the first 2 games. Super, super good stuff.